Welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be taking you through what it's been like for me living and staying alone. It's been 3 months and wow, it's been a journey. So we're going to talk about so many things and I have a feeling that you're going to pick a lot from this. So definitely stay tuned and let's get into the video. So the first few weeks were very exciting. Having left home, I was very optimistic about what it would be like staying on my own. Prior to moving out, I had never stayed on my own nor taken care of myself. Perhaps the closest that I had got to staying on my own was in boarding school, but then there was still a matron. Then I still had to follow a schedule. Then I still had to go with the rules of the school. There was something governing my actions while I was in school. But now in the real world like this, there isn't really much that is governing my actions. And I get to take care of myself like every single bit of the process. So in this case, this is a foreign land that I'm trying to discover, that I'm trying to understand and just better maneuver through it. So I was curious about what it would be like. But first I needed to get some important things out of the way, beginning with food. And for food, because I had heard of these women who cook food and sell to people, I knew that was going to be like my go-to avenue for food. Because I wasn't going to be buying junk food, things like Rolexes, chips, sausages. Maybe from time to time I'll buy them, but usually what I'll do is buy some of these things and add them to a meal. Maybe if I'm buying like a Rolex, I'm adding it to like rice and beans maybe, or I'm getting like sausages and I'm adding it to a sauce I prepared. They come as additionals, they're not like the main meal. So I made sure I walked around and I found this lady who was cooking food just next to my place, and I would go there every day to buy food from her. And in the beginning, while buying food from her, I thought that was like, a good solution for my situation, having left home, and I thought it was going to be cheap. I was spending at around 200,000 a month on food, which I thought was okay. This is my lunch. This is going to be my supper. Still have some food here. This is going to be my supper. And I spent a total of 3,000 Ugandan shillings, which is crazy. Maybe you can say with the water that's 4,000. This water can take me 2 days. So pretty good. Like it seemed like something that was cheap, but it wasn't cheap. At least after I had bought things in the house like rice, posho, after I bought those things, I got to realize that it wasn't cheap. And I also got to realize that I wasn't eating well. Because when I used to buy food, I would eat half and then I keep another half for supper. And like I wouldn't really get full, so I would want to buy things in between. Like usually in the evening I would go out and buy like maize, popcorn, mandazi, and then I take tea, like just something to like fill in the gap because the food wasn't really getting me through. But now that I have food in the house, it's a lot easier for me to just prepare a meal and have enough food, eat to the fullest, and it's actually cheap. Like rice, maize flour, those things are not expensive to buy. I think a sack of rice is 35 and a sack of posho is 25, yes, if I remember well. So that's like 50 grand, and it's going to take you like 1 or 2 months or even 3 months if you're alone. I think this is now like my second month with food in the house and it's still going. So probably next month maybe it will get done, or the other month, I don't know, but it lasts a lot longer and you get to eat a lot more and worry less about hunger. Then the next thing is possibly something that would have been the first, which was budgeting. But because I wasn't familiar with the terrain, because I wasn't familiar with how things would turn out while staying on my own, it was an experiment. It was something that I was just going to experiment. Then I budget around my experience. Within like a month, I got an understanding of my finances, and then I began to budget a lot better. So food was taking about 200 grand. Then I would like try to keep at least 100,000 for some things that would just come up, or maybe if I needed to move out of the house and go somewhere. But now I'm all good. I have a general picture of how my finances are in a given month. The third thing was how I would not run mad in my own space. Having met Martin and Lisa at one of the places I work at, we grew a lot closer and I started meeting with them. Every Friday I would find a new place to go to, and as we were driving around I would get to understand the area that I'm in, and that just allowed me to settle a lot easier in my space. Because now I'll look forward to Fridays knowing that on Friday I'm going to be out of my space and not get drowned out in my own space. 2 things I was not doing before leaving home: cooking food and washing my clothes and utensils. For those who had our little, because I didn't have enough plates to cycle through whenever I needed to go and get food. Anytime I needed to go and get food, I would have to wash the utensils that I used the previous day to go and pack more food for the present day. And then for washing clothes, I would make sure I pack up my clothes, for the month, like, for the month, the ones that I've used in a month, and I just find like this one day and I wash my clothes. And I'm actually thinking of outsourcing the washing to someone in the area, because I've seen like this one lady who usually washes clothes. So I think there are people who are paying her. If I can do that, I can just get that off of my hands. And the other one is cooking. After I bought things in the house, I knew I needed to get started cooking. And it's something that I got to learn a bit before leaving. I took some time to be around the kitchen with the house help and just pick up on some cooking skills. And now I do cook for myself, which is a good thing. At least I don't have to get someone to come and cook for me. So I do cook for myself, and when I cook food, I make sure it lasts for at least 2 days. So if I cook food today, it's going to last today and also tomorrow. So I always give myself like that one day, not to be in the kitchen, not to be cutting tomatoes and onions. But of course, cooking came with its own hassles. Because I wasn't cooking before, I didn't know how to measure the food that I was going to eat for a given day. So on day one, I think I put a lot of beans, and I thought because the beans were still down when I placed them in a saucepan, I thought they were chill. Then when I started boiling, they expanded, and all of a sudden I had a full saucepan of beans. I finished them. I couldn't pour them. I managed to keep them going for like 2 days. I think it was even like 3 days. And the trick was to always warm the food. So in the morning I would warm the food, in the afternoon I would warm the food, before I sleep I warm the food. So I just keep warming, and that way it doesn't go bad. The same thing happened also with posho. I prepared a little posho. That one had to go to waste because I couldn't be like warming it every time. I didn't find a way to keep on warming it. So that one went bad, and I kind of wasted a bit of it. Something happened for rice, like something happened for everything, but I eventually figured it out. But all of this is a learning curve. It forces you to grow up quickly, which in hindsight is a good thing. And right now I'm pretty well settled, and I know what to do and what not to do. So what were the pros of living alone 3 months down the road? The first one is peace and quiet. If you're like me and you cherish a bit of quietness, you'll enjoy the serenity of just being alone. Like no interruptions, no arguments about who is better, Messi or Ronaldo. Although if you met me, I would tell you Ronaldo is better. Like it's your space, no interruptions unless you invite people over. The next one is personal growth. Like you learn to manage your time, your money, and your emotions. It's a skill staying on your own, and this skill comes with so many learning points. For example, you might understand the finances part and the time part, but the emotional side of it is very random and very dodgy. Like sometimes you're ecstatic over nothing, and sometimes you're also angry over nothing. Like you just randomly get pissed. This alone can mess the other too. Like you'll find yourself going to buy popcorn or chicken tonight just because you're not happy, therefore messing with your finances. Or you will procrastinate on your work because you're too happy watching a series that is having a very interesting storyline. Like the emotional aspect of it is something very random and very dodgy and hard to grasp, but once you grasp it, everything just falls in line. The next one is freedom. Want to stay up till 3 a.m. in the night? Go for it. For me, my night is your day. Does that make sense? For me, my day is your night. So when you guys are asleep, right now I'm recording this video and it is 12:52. Sometimes I could even record this video like at 3 something, and after here I'm going to edit the video. So in the night I'm usually active, then during day at least up to midday I'm sleeping. Then after I wake up and I go through a normal day like everybody else. And also with freedom, you can walk around naked, but just make sure that there are no see-throughs in your curtains, because if people get sight of your nudity, just know you're going to train on X the next day, which is something you're not looking forward to. But let's not romanticize living alone, because there are definitely cons to living alone, like serious cons. The first one is loneliness. Like this one hits hard, especially on quiet nights when you're busy watching a series or some documentary and you just want to, turn to your left or turn to your right and just talk to someone about what you're watching. But you find you're alone and you only have to speak in your head, talk to yourself. I'm a very talkative person, and just having a conversation with someone in person can make whatever I'm watching a lot more interesting. So this is definitely something that you're going to face, loneliness. Like the times where the quietness is very loud, you actually take notice that, whoa, I'm alone in my space. But you kind of grow into it, though it's something that comes from time to time. You can't tell when it's going to come, like it just comes from time to time. But when it comes, You just have to acknowledge, maybe send someone a message, start a conversation with someone you haven't talked to in a while, and yeah, you can sort the issue in a sense. No safety net. So if you fell sick, you forgot something important at home, or you fell and knocked your leg somewhere, you're solo. This is something that kind of happened to me. I think I was getting out of the bathroom or something. I don't remember the scenario very well, but I knocked my leg and my knee was hurting, like it was hurting so much. I couldn't even climb the stairs properly when I went out to buy something. Even when I was going down the stairs, I was feeling so much pain, and when I was coming back, I was feeling so much pain. But luckily for me, I had medicine that I had bought, so I just took a few tablets and slept off. The next day, everything was calm. But in case it's something worse, let's say I have malaria and I'm here just sleeping in my bed, just busy covered up in my blanket, just hoping someone can notice that I haven't gotten out of my room in days and come and help me out. I mean, I could contact like the guy at the gate or something, definitely, but it's something that is real. You know, you be alone, there's no safety net. And then the last one is financial pressure. Like, living alone isn't cheap. From rent to groceries, things just pile up fast. For example, ever since having started cooking, I just noticed that tomatoes get done a lot faster. Like, it's crazy. Tomatoes get done a lot faster. At least onions, when I buy like a huge pack, it can last. But for tomatoes, they have this tendency of going bad. So you find that you have to rush to cook them. And I don't have a fridge to like keep them there, and they last a lot longer. Toilet paper, sugar, these things get done at wrong times, honestly. You're real broke and all of a sudden tomatoes are done. Oh, you want to wash clothes? There's no soap. Before I left home, I only had to worry about the things that I wanted to buy for myself that were just of interest. Things like tech, let's say a new phone, let's say a new laptop. Those were the only things that I would have to worry about. But now I have to worry about everything. Like every single thing, I have to worry about it. But what keeps me straight is knowing that I'm learning out of this experience, is knowing that I'm becoming a man out of this experience. So when things get hard, I just sit down, reflect on them, and figure out how I can go about them. And that makes my life living alone a lot more easier. So that's my experience living alone 3 months in. The highs, the lows, the mediums, everything. If you're thinking of living alone or you're already living alone, let me know in the comments. Like the video if you haven't yet, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Many of you watch these videos but you're not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel so I can get to 1,000 subscribers and get the channel monetized and make sense of this endeavor of starting a YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.